All right, so we're gonna do another take with Scarlet, Shumard, Nuttall, cherrybark, and overcup. So, as a review, Shumard has very rarely does it have auxiliary hairs at the midrib, compared to Shumard and Nuttall, which do. Just look at that there. See them all? That brown right there at the midrib, and Nuttall with its hair on the midrib. Review Scarlet's here on the left. Shumard right here in the center, darker green. Nuttall a lighter green with the hairs, and it's not as spread out at the end. If you look there, see one that's a little bit more complete. This one's not been messed with at all. There, it kind of comes to a point better than the Shumard. See that? Shumard fans out at the end, while Nuttall comes to a better point. And Shumard and Scarlet, as many of you know by now, if you're trying to compare them, has almost the exact same shape with the fanning ends. I will say the biggest difference between cherrybark oak and all these other red oaks is these white pubescent undersides. Very different, much more like a beech leaf, and very light and kind of splotchy patterning that we saw on the Florida maple, but more soft and fluffy and really beech-like. The pagoda shape is there. It can be hard to tell sometimes. This is a huge leaf, but you can kind of see the right angles of the pagoda on that one. The best one, I think, is this one here. Right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle. Goes down to another right angle. Kind of 3 right angles on either side, making that pagoda shape. Some really lose it. I mean, look at this guy. Really bent around, so it's not as clear. And this one has a really large left lobe, if you're coming from the center, right on the camera. So the pagoda shape is somewhat reliable. You'll see it across the entire tree, but really that giveaway is this pubescent underside. If we look, there's some bits of auxiliary hairs, not very common, that white underside. And then look at these pretty buds. Try to get it focused there. Look at that, the yellow and the brown. Compare that to Scarlet's buds. It's a nice pair out here. They're not always in groups of 3, but generally at the terminal bud point will have groups. That white pubescence on the Scarlet and that kind of reddish brown bottom. See some of their other bud points. This one doesn't have many, but you can see them there. So that white pubescence. Shumard, very similar look and buds to Scarlet in shape and everything, but does not have that pubescence. So it's really hard to get into focus. Get it in. Whew. Stay with me, guys. There. That one has 3 very dull, almost the same color as the stem. And Nuttall's buds are almost impossible to see on this one, but gray. I don't think it's pubescent, but we can look back at notes for that later. Much smaller buds than those other 2. And then here's the buds of that cherrybark again. Look at how pretty those are. And then we're gonna wrap it up with the overcup oak. It is white like cherrybark. You see cherrybark in the background there, but it does not have the pubescent underside. This one is a planting, so I don't know if the veinage is from breeding, but really striking veinage too. And then, of course, the overcup acorn, very unique. But if you can't find those for whatever reason, you should be able to find them for this class, but if you can't find them, that white underside. Let's compare that leaf shape. Some of them kind of come to a post oak kind of shape. You can see it there. But a lot smaller of a leaf. Here's some post oaks. And I should say smaller lobes. The leaf is about the same size. But you can compare it to this fallen brown leaf of the post oak. It still has that same direction with the lobes, but not as soft. Sorry about that coughing. Yeah, here's one look at its buds. Nothing I can really say about them here. Let's see if we can get a better look at this one. Very subdued on this one. Yeah, almost unnoticeable for now. That's all I have to say about these guys. One last view at them all. We have the Scarlet Oak, Shumard. Keep in mind, leaf size is not reliable difference between the two. This is just my examples. Nuttall, pagoda, cherrybark. That's what the top looks like. But really keep in mind that pubescent underside if you're trying to identify oaks. And the overcup oak with that same white kind of tint underside, but without the pubescent hairs. And another dead giveaway with cherrybark is that pretty bud. One final note: Shumard and Nuttall have very similar acorns. Really, just look at that end, those last three lobes on the leaf. Shumard fans out much more and has more of those bristle tips. All right, thank you.